Hello, you're watching OMG News. The headlines today. A new study into violence in games suggests children are far less affected than previously thought. Apple have released their newest machine to record queues in stores. We take a look at it. Our special report on drug abuse in cats, what effects it has and what you can do to help. And our roundup of the news from where you are. Good evening, I'm Carol Bundock. New research published by the Bureau of Parental Worrying suggests that modern video games may in fact not be violent enough for children. After several high-profile cases where acts of violence have been attributed to the perpetrators playing games, the government commissioned the group to research the area in depth. Well, joining on the line is Dr. Alex Coombs, who led this research. Dr. Coombs, this contradicts all previous public knowledge about the subject. Why?
That's right. Well, the reason I believe this contradicts what we already know is that there hasn't been enough proper research into this area. In fact, most of the public's opinion on this topic seems to come from news headlines and reports on news shows such as this one.
Well, getting away from that, what were the main findings of your report?
Well, for our report, we did a couple of tests. The first test was to give a random selection of children the opportunity to either cave a man's head in with a crowbar or play the video game Half-Life 2. Now, 100% of the children chose to play the video game, and this shows us that although they are willing to be violent within the game, this does not extend to the real world. We also allowed the children to play the game Grand Theft Auto 4 and then studied their behaviour through the rest of the day.
Well, I believe we have a clip from one of these studies. Can you talk us through it?
I can, yes. Here we have a child, I'll call him Scott Rhodes, 14, from Chelmsford to protect his privacy, playing Grand Theft Auto 4. You can see in the game that he is acting violently towards a passerby on the streets and enacting the actions using the controller. Critics have said that this physical action is what results in real-life violence. However, after this, he then went outside with his dog to play fetch without attacking anybody, then had a game of football in the park.
Truly shocking results. Now, I understand that this problem has affected the whole industry, but the game you showed has always been at the centre of controversy. What do the game developers plan to do about this?
Well, I have a quote here from Rockstar Games, who developed the software, and they say the next generation of hardware will allow us to finally cause physical injury to the player, hopefully inciting the kind of senseless violence we have come to expect from our children. We strive to offend and scare parents, and this report has really made us see how we have failed in this regard.
So what particular aspects of this game have parents been worrying about?
Well, the game itself rewards the player for their crimes. So the player has to kill and steal, and the better they are at this, the further they progress in the storyline.
Dr. Coombs, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Whilst the rest of the economy feels the pinch, the tech sector is continuing its growth, with Apple releasing their new range. Here with a report is our technology correspondent, Matt Hall.
Thank you. Now today we've got our hands on the newest iteration of Apple's MacBook range, and today I'm joined in the studio by Nicola, who's going to tell us a bit more about it, aren't you, Nicola?
Yes, thank you, Matthew. Now taking a look at the MacBook Pro. We can see that it's slim and stylish. It comes in two pieces, each weighing about 20 kilograms, so you can carry one bit in each arm and set it down to use on the go. They make it using their new milling technology, so it's one piece of aluminium painted to look like beige plastic. You'll be able to use this anywhere in the country where you can find an industrial 10-amp power supply.
I see, that sounds incredible. So do you think this could be the next evolution in computing then?
Definitely. Apple have really stepped up to the game this time.
That sounds great. Could you tell us a bit more about the specs on this computer?
Yes, of course. You'll be amazed by the power of this little thing. It has a 1.5 megahertz processor, 64K of RAM and 2 disk drives.
Wow, okay, so here's how it works. As you can see, the unit is already powered on because we didn't have time to do that today in this demonstration. But what you do to start it is you hardwire the various drives to the motherboard, insert the boot disk, and then press the power buttons on the front and the back of the system at the same time.
Yes, the build and boot time for this is also only about 45 minutes.
45 minutes, wow, that's really fast.
Anyway, what I'm going to show you now is one of the games which comes as standard on this set. It's called International Grand Prix. It's a car racing game. Now, if we just give that a second to load, the reason I've chosen this is because it just demonstrates the graphical genius that has gone into building this machine. you can set it up to be pretty much as personal as you want. You choose your track, choose your speeds, choose your manual or automatic gearboxes. If I just start the race and give you a bit of an example as to what that's like, as you can see, the resemblance to reality is just uncanny.
Yeah, it looks incredible.
I sometimes actually forget I'm not in a car.
Wow.
If I just, we'll just leave that for a bit.
Okay. So do you think this game will be popular for users of the system?
Definitely. It's unlike anything we've ever seen before, and it is suitable for multiplayer and tournament plays.
Oh, brilliant. So can you tell us a bit more about this machine then?
Yeah, this is the IBM TX series modem.
Oh, and what does it do exactly?
Well, that should be obvious. All we have to do is switch it on, connect this probulator, and it's ready to go.
I see.
This then allows us to connect to the internet. It's an add-on for the MacBook, which otherwise wouldn't be able to utilise this fantastic technology.
So this is good all around machine, and it'd certainly be capable of helping us with our work then.
Indeed it would. Apple have slashed the prices on this as well, with this basic set coming in only around £1,500, which is a bargain considering the feature set.
Yeah, it certainly sounds it. And I apologise, but that's all we've got time for today, Nicola, and now I think it's time to go back to the studio.